to one, just because I feel like some things have to be dealt with. Just saw a comment from Smokey. Smokey, I never once said you were a plant. Let me explain how the situation worked. You reached out to Sherilyn on that mod account, D Shurter mod, that she would never give me access to, regardless how many times I've asked. I never got access. So you and her were having conversations. I didn't even know who you were. And so all of a sudden she started pushing me. You gotta talk to Smokey. You gotta talk to Smokey. Oh, you really should talk to Smokey. I trusted her. So I started talking to you. And do you know, right after I started talking to you, Thomas started fucking telling everybody that I was involved with MS-13 and how you were involved with MS-13 and we were threatening him with MS-13. It all went down. Bing, bing, bing. Do I think it's a coincidence? No fucking way. I've been at this for a long time. You know, you're an okay dude, but let me give something through your head. I don't owe you shit. I don't know anybody's shit. I've given my whole life for this. You know, yesterday I get a death threat that they're going to do an Isaac Cappy ritual on me. I sent it to the police. Good morning, Susan. Hey, Elizabeth. You can go check my blog and see what it was, you know, the death threat. And Daniel Dowd is out there running around fucking, you know, the whole 36 people that saw his fucking video that he mentioned me in 11 hours ago. Even when they're fucking with my numbers, I still get way more than views, real views than that. And of course, my first question is, how many of those views that he got, how many of them were Geo Farnsworth's fake ass accounts? Because God knows how many he has. How many Daniel Dowd has. You know? And so that's how this situation goes. That's how this situation goes. Sherilyn, I know you fucking watch this shit. I don't even read your emails anymore. I just archive them. Archive them. I don't even fucking read them. Do I think that you were involved with them? Without a motherfucking doubt in my head, I think that. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. I don't think so. Not at all. And now Daniel Dowd is doing the thing. Oh, now I have 33% or 33. Fuck, I'll have 500 people in here pretty soon. You know? But what ends up happening is when I get done with this, it will show me the number, including the bots of who saw it. And so I just count the numbers from that. You know? That's how I went, you know? The difference between me and Daniel Dowd is I don't have all my fucking incels. I don't have any incels, first of all. But I don't send fucking incels into his shit. I don't track him down like they do, because they're in here now. You know? I don't chase them down. And again, if they didn't want me to think that they fucking murdered Owen, Geo Farnsworth, and Diddy, or Diddy, sorry, they just called me Diddy. I just ended up doing it. Daniel Dowd. But fuck, the only difference between Daniel Dowd and P. Diddy is the color of their skin. You know? And so I don't know. That's all of this shit happens. You know? Oh yeah. Fuck. They're on top of me. They're on top of me. They're making fucking death threats. I went around town and showed people that shit that I got sent yesterday, and it freaked everyone out. So they can send death threats. They can do all the shit that they want. I can't trust anyone. That's the whole fucking point, is I can't trust anyone. You know? They go out of their way. Well, there are some people. Elizabeth, I know you and have known you for years. Years and years and years. And so Plus, you and your significant other have never come at me and made my fucking life. You know? What I believe is that it was a setup, Gov. It's what I believe. I believe it was a setup. And so, and now she's out talking shit to Smokey because that's the only place it could have come from, you know? And God only knows who else fucking, because I've never had access to that email. Never. Never had access to that email. Never once. Asked for it. You would think because it was my live and it was my shit when she set it up, she would have given me access to it without even asking. Without me asking. But I've asked repeatedly and never got the credentials to get on that fucking email. So they were turning me into a fucking honeypot. You know? And now she wants to act like the motherfucking victim. The cops are already looking into this. And they're not looking into this because of me. In Shelby County, the corruption in Shelby County has been so bad and so many people have complained about it. There's been investigations going on, from what I understand, for years. For years. It is shady. Oh, thanks, Gov. It's another Goodwill purchase. I think I spent $2.99 on this shirt. I can buy stuff like this in Goodwill because nobody around here wears anything like this. And I love this kind of stuff. So I wear it. I buy it. And it's usually always half price off because nobody buys it. But and Sherilyn can be upset all she wants. But I have no control over the people investigating this. And they're going to want to know if she's connected to Daniel Dowd and Geo Farnsworth and Thomas Schoenberger and Gabe Hoffman or Lucian Greaves and his satanic temple and all of that. You know? They're going to find out. And they're chasing me everywhere. I left a comment on someone's stuff on YouTube this morning. And not more than 5 minutes later, they were commenting on it, telling me I was a liar. So they follow me around everywhere. They are obsessed with me. They are obsessed. And so, depends on what Goodwill you go to, Gov. Susan, I love shopping at Goodwill. I think the ones there would be actually fun to shop just because of where you're at. Omaha has great Goodwills because we have the base. And when they ship those people out, they just dump all their shit at the Goodwills. So sometimes you can walk in there and just find some amazing stuff. Sometimes you can go in there and you can spend the whole day looking at everyone and not find anything. So, you know. But this child trafficking thing is just, they're obsessed. But in town, all of this shit is being investigated because there's so many fucking drugs in this county that they've been looking at that for a long time. And Daniel Dowd and his little 36 followers that watched his last video, and he never has more than that. Geo's even sadder, you know? I suggest they spend their own money, which they're doing. Instead of sending bots to my channel, they might want to go look so that more people are interested in their shit. Because that's how it works. You know? Elizabeth is cool. I will take you up on that, Gov. Small. Small. Tiny. Tiny. Right now, it's the end of the month. I'm starving. I'm out of gas. But I don't want to ask for money because they use it against me. And I don't want people to think that I've been at this all these years, you know? Anybody who wants to contribute, though, PayPal and Venmo is D Shurter. You know? I'm trying to expose this fucking pedophile ring. It's this pedophile ring. That's what needs to be exposed, is this pedophile ring. This child trafficking. I think everybody waiting around, waiting for this fucking Epstein list is stupid. You know? Dude, I tell you what. Why don't you let me worry about my own soul and you worry about your fucking own? How about that? You know? Because I don't need you to worry about my soul for me. You don't even know who I am. Everybody needs to go back to Jesus. It's all been a setup. And had things worked out the way that they were hoping, Sherilyn kept telling me she was giving me a felony. I'm not stupid, you know? Oh shit, they're gonna fucking pardon her. It's all being done. They're making deals to make all of this go down, good, close up. That's what they want, you know? I do worry about myself. If you fill your heart with love, if you don't fill your heart with love, Abby, I don't give a fuck. If you end up in the dark, I don't give a fuck. That's on you. That's with everybody. It's on you, you know? But you want to know what the difference is between me and you? You're on my venue, actually running your fucking mouth. I'm not following you. I'm not on your venue. You're on mine. You know? This child trafficking thing needs to be dealt with. She'll stay quiet or she'll disappear. She ain't going to stay quiet. She's going to come forward and lie. She's going to come in and lie. She's going to give some sort of bullshit story, you know? And then she's going to get pardoned. That's how it's going to work. Watch. Watch. It's been a cover-up from this whole beginning, you know? From the whole beginning, it's been a cover-up. What, you think it's going to just stop? It's all going to get covered up. But it ain't going to go away. It ain't going to go away. And Daniel Dowd commented on his own thing saying, oh, I'm the Pied Piper, because they called Walt Carlson the Pied Piper of pornography back in the 80s. You realize that I only met Walt twice, right? I didn't really know Walt. Mark is the one who would come to my mother's house, you know? No, they won't put the bastards in jail. That's the reason why God is getting ready to deal with it. The reason why we're having so many big-ass earthquakes, we just had one that was really deep. It was, what, a 6.6 yesterday? Is because the earth is starting to spin faster. You can go look it up in Science News. Just type in, is the earth spinning faster? Don't be like Geo, who's like, oh, there's still 24 hours in a day. You're an idiot. You know? That's what he fucking said. Just go Google it. The earth is spinning faster. The earth is a ball, and it's spinning faster. When things spin and they spin faster, what happens when they spin faster? They expand. That's what ends up happening. It's just simple physics. So when the earth spins faster and it starts to expand, what do you think are going to happen to the plates we all live in that float on the top? You know? Maybe Superman is doing that. Maybe. Spinning, stretching, earthquakes, volcanoes. And the sun just keeps inundating us with solar flare and more gamma radiation. The CMEs are terrible. You know, all of that is going on. Thank you. And so that's what's happening right now. God is getting fulfilling heaven's answers. They better hope they can live forever, you know? But they all think that they are just all that and a bag of chips, which is funny because I see Daniel Dowd and he makes me feel dirty, you know? I feel like I want to go take a bath with a Brillo pad. Same thing with Geo Farnsworth. Same thing with all of them, you know? Same thing with all of them. Or you can go run around. I mean, Lucian Greaves, founder of the Satanic Temple, who has that Satanic Temple after school daycare. There's not like, hey, thank you, Susan. There's not pictures of him whipping out his dick and balls and getting national media to take pictures of his dick and balls, laying it on a fucking tombstone. And that's who's okay to deal with kids, you know? Really? Because that's fucked up. And anybody who starts to look at who's all involved with that after school daycare, you'll find out how many fucking pedophiles, convicted pedophiles, are connected to it. Which is the whole reason why they're sending all their minions in here and trying to shut me up and chasing me down and sending me death threats and sending me bots, you know, that only last for 19 seconds. They come on for 19 seconds and they leave, then they come on for 19 seconds and they leave, and they leave. I don't ever read when it says this message is held for review. Don't even read it. It's not a fucking bit of paranoid dickhead. Day gone, you know? Okay, day gone. Like nobody knows what day gone means. You're right. You're so original and sneaky, and no one could figure your stupid shit out. Dagon. Fucking dumbass. I've been at this for too many years, you know? Too many years. And they're all in here now because they're all trying to hide their pedophile ring. Daniel Dowd and Geo Farnsworth came in to my area. They were in Omaha. Daniel Dowd told my sister Kathy that he was in Joplin, Missouri, which is not that far from Omaha. So he wasn't in Arizona. Thomas Schoenberger is the one who told me his sister lives in Joplin, Missouri. But he and Geo Farnsworth came in to my area, murdered my friend Owen, bragged about it, and now want to act butthurt because I'm just pointing it out that they bragged about murdering my friend. You know? That's what's sad. You know? Jeremiah, that better not be a fucking threat. You realize I'm just going to take screenshots of all of this, and then when I post this, I'm just going to put it on my blog, and they can go see everything. That way people can read the screenshots. You know? It's simple. Your own shit is bringing your dumbasses down. I don't know why you think you can do all of this publicly and think that no one's going to be able to figure out your stupid shit. You know? It's exhausting to deal with this. It's exhausting to deal with it. And it's just one attempted setup after another attempted setup. And let me just point out, every fucking time they do it, they fail. They have failed repeatedly, over and over and over and over. All the shit they did to me in Algona, failed. All the shit they did to me in Erlang, failed. All the shit they've done to me in Harlan, failed. You know? Oh yeah, I suspend them. I don't block them anymore. And I take screenshots of their shit. That way their shit doesn't it doesn't disappear. And I take screenshots. That's the other thing. I kept asking for screenshots because my moderator was saying she was taking screenshots, but it's funny how I never fucking got any, you know? But that's all over with now. That's all over with. Do I think that it was a setup? Yeah. Do I think that last Saturday she would have given me something and then they would have arrested me? Yeah. Yeah, I do. And if they arrested me, do I think that they would have killed me while I was in jail? Yeah, I do. But they failed. Because heaven let me know. And now she's running around, running her mouth to people, you know? If you don't like my talking, go the fuck away. It's a simple fucking solution. No one has a goddamn gun to your head. It's a simple solution, you know? But they're all in here. Oh, will you stop swearing? This shit is irritating. It's irritating. They murder my friends. They just sent me a death threat. Oh, I'm gay. Wow. You're observant. Been very observant, you know? Bet you're a fucking rocket science, huh? Right. We're all adults. And I don't let kids in here, you know? I didn't almost get arrested. Had they given me that fucking THC cartridge, I would have gotten arrested for that. It was a setup. And now she's running around fucking bitching at people. Smokey now thinks that I said he was a plant. I never said he was a plant. Dude, they used you as a useful idiot. That's what you were to them. You know? They She found out that you were connected to MS-13 and couldn't get me to talk to you fast enough. And the minute I talked to you, Thomas was on top of me through emails with Neil, saying I was dealing with someone from MS-13. I didn't even fucking, to be quite honest, I didn't even know what that was at the time, you know? Because I'm not into gangs. But it was being used against me. Oh, that I had gang members who were threatening Thomas, you know? Oh, Jesus. These little incels don't have any fucking brains whatsoever, but I would be willing to bet that most of them are Daniel Dowd and Geo Farnsworth. To be quite honest, you know? To be quite honest, that's what I think. Again, had they not bragged about murdering my friend Owen, I would have never figured it out. But they went out of their way to brag. Daniel Dowd posted a bunch of live videos of my town on YouTube so that I would know that they were in my town during when Owen died. That's what they wanted. You know? I've shown it over and over and over again. And go watch them. Do you think those people are incapable of murder? Geo was fighting with someone on X, and he sent her a picture of himself with his grandson without pants on. Has been talking about he was accused of killing kids before. I didn't get the whole gist of it, don't want to get the gist of it. But when I told him that the reason why he used clown in all of his shit is because he has a fascination with John Wayne Gacy, do you know he admitted it to this person who was fighting with him on X? That's why they stopped fighting with him, because he freaked him out. You know? He's a fan of John Wayne Gacy, which explains why he's such a homophobe. He's always calling me names. But isn't the ones that yell the loudest the ones that need to come out of the closet? And that's why I asked him, would you rather me call you Twinkle Toes or Helium Heels? You know, if we're going to get real, And they think that fucking with my numbers is going to do something. You know, the whole thing about it is that even after this gets done, I still get hundreds of views. And again, it's not about the quantity of people watching my videos. It's the quality of people. And I know there are people who are investigators who are watching this shit and taking heed. That's why I'm posting everything on my blog, because they're taking heed. Because most people don't fucking like pedophiles. It's funny how it works that way. They sure as fuck don't like people who are trafficking kids. Funny how it works that way. And again, it's the quality of people who watch my shit, not the quantity. So you can post whatever fucking weird ass stupid shit you want, but I send them to your shit. That's the reason why you get the views that you do sometimes, because I send people to your shit I want them to see. It's most effective for you to show them yourselves. So they don't have to just take my word for it. They can see your stupid shit. They can see your stupid shit. And Neil Gross, who you think is going to save you, Shelby County, Iowa Sheriff Neil Gross, he can't even fucking save himself. He's going down. Everybody in town knows that motherfucker's corrupt. They know that there is a whole list of motherfucking deputies in that sheriff's department that are absolutely corrupt. And the thing that you won't be able to deal with is that people in town have watched my videos and it has inspired them to actually start talking. That's how this shit has worked. I've actually inspired people to start talking, to start taking a stand for what is right. What they needed was just to someone come along. But this whole child trafficking pedo ring that you've had going for so long, people are aware of it now. They're aware of it. And like I've said, Daniel Dowd, Geo Farnsworth, Thomas Schoenberger, Gabe Hoffman, Corey Daniel, DeFango, Lucian Greaves, founder of the Satanic Temple. You guys are my motherfucking target audience. You're the only ones I care about. Everyone else, they can just watch. But your stupid asses need to know. You need to know because I want you to know what's coming. You know? Not that I don't care about the rest of you. But when it comes down to it, I want them to know. And I'm not like them. I'm not going to go hide under fucking fake ass names with fake ass accounts, make fake ass threats anonymously and all of that. I'm right fucking here. My face, my name. Calling you fucking pedophiles out. And I know there's more people on my side than there are on your side. You know? There are more people who hate fucking pedophiles than who are enamored about your evil fucking bullshit. So you can go film that and send that out to everyone. Nobody's impressed with your pedophile asses. Nobody's impressed with your pedophile asses. In fact, they're all praying for your motherfucking asses to be claimed, to be brought down. You know? Dude, if you think you're a vampire, you need to go get therapy. That's all I'm going to say. You know, I haven't prayed the last few times. I'm going to pray. I've been praying. I've been communing with God a lot these last few days. Broke as fuck. Kind of desperate. But still focused on God. We all have our crosses to bear. You know? I'm glad. I hope you like the book. Child innocence is being corrupted. I'm one of those people who thinks that children should remain innocent for as long as they fucking can. And that sucks because we live in a world where you can't leave them innocent. They have to know that there are people out there that are dangerous. But I am looking forward to a time where we can keep children as innocent and happy and loving. And you know how you do that? You follow the word, you know? Oh my God. Okay, white boy. Little fucking Nazi, are we? You know? Little bit of a Nazi, are we? And you're in here fucking protecting fucking pedophiles. That's the funny thing about it. You're coming at me while you're defending fucking pedophiles. That's what's so remarkable about it. You know? Think that your little anonymous comments are actually going to make a difference. You know? While you're fucking defending fucking pedophiles. Yeah, you're all that in a goddamn bag of chips. Let me pray. Thank you, Brian, for that fucking threat. I'll make sure that I post that. Again, it's the quality of people in here. Law enforcement watches this shit. They do. And all you stupid motherfuckers who come in who think that you're anonymous saying all of your shit, I am law enforcement's honeypot. It brings all of you motherfuckers out. And you're so fucking aggressive and stupid that it doesn't fucking even dawn on you that you're just exposing yourself to law enforcement. That's what I fucking love about all this. You know, that's what I love about all of it. You're exposing yourself to law enforcement. 12-year-old kids do deserve justice. Every fucking kid. The fucking little boys that they filleted while I was a kid, that's what got me into this. Because I wanted justice for them. You know? All kids deserve justice. And every fucking pedophile needs to be stopped. Especially this whole fucking group of them that are all in here now. Because Daniel Dowd sent us all of his shit. Geo and Daniel Dowd are fucking with my numbers. Algorithm, 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 algorithm. But what the fuck am I going to do about it? There's nothing. I researched it. There's nothing you can do about it. There's no way to stop it. They want to spend their money? Fuck, go ahead, you know? Of course, they're making their money fucking selling your kids. But whatever, you know? Whatever. And I don't block any of you dumbasses anymore. You know? No. Going through child abuse fucks you up your whole life. You never really get over it. I don't care what they say. I've been in therapy. Fuck. I'm damn near 60. I've never gotten over it. It's influenced every fucking day of my life since then. When I was a kid, everyone looked away. No one actually did a fucking thing. And I'll never be like that. You know? I was bound to the dark. Before I was even born, I was bound to the dark. I was without choice. Michael Aquino and his Luciferian fucking friends bound me to the dark. It was always a part of me. It's been a part of me since and you're right. I should have just, I don't know who Katie Johnson is. Trump's a bad dude. He's a fucking pedophile. How much more fucking proof? They could fucking come up with a videotape of him fucking raping a child. And there are people who would be like, oh well, it's a deep fake. It's a deep fake. Fucking friends with fucking, he says that he has an age limit. He won't go with anyone under 12. The woman, he doesn't like 12-year-olds, but 13-year-olds are okay. The dude is on tape saying how he wants to fuck his daughter. But you're right. You go ahead and dude, you don't have to prove it. It's already out there. It's already out there. So you go ahead. You go fight for fucking pedophiles, dude. When you end up in the goddamn dark, you'll deserve it. I was there when his daddy was fucking filleting boys in fucking Hummel Park. So his family comes from that shit. Fred Trump was in Hummel Park. The proof is all over the place. They don't want to fucking see it. They will fight for fucking pedophiles. They like pedophiles just as long as it's pedophiles that they like. If the shit was being said about Biden or anybody else, oh boy, they'd be right on top of that. But now that their orange pedophile Jesus is being called out, now pedophilia is okay. Ignorance is a definite disease. He's part of the same fucking circle. Trump is just like his daddies, Just like his dad. The whole family. And even his kids are fucked up. You can see that, I'm not losing any sleep over Trump being it. Trump is the best fucking thing that happened. He is here because of God. He's the false prophet. He's leading your dumbasses right into the fucking dark. And you're too goddamn dumb to realize it. And that's the coolest thing. That's the funniest thing. Fuck, you'll fight for that fucking pedophile. He even got you to put the fucking mark on your head with your stupid little red hats. But you guys are so goddamn dumb, and I'm not talking all of you. I'm just talking, there is definitely a group of people out there dumb as fucking rocks, All right, you have a point there. I shouldn't be using Lord's name. I'll swear, but I'll stop using, even though you do realize that God's name isn't really God, right? So saying God isn't really using God's name in vain. Well, $20 says Trump doesn't serve his full term. South Park kind of said that, didn't they? I do have to say that shit last night was hilarious. Oh my God. Right. Who just said that? Jacob, you're right. Trump is one, Biden is one. They're all involved. They're all involved. Dude, go ahead and make your little fucking threats. He's not going to last the whole term. I totally believe in God. I believe we're in judgment. I believe that the reaping is right before us. You know? Let whoever is without sin be among you to first cast a stone. Okay, so since no one is without sin, we can't talk about pedophiles, right? We can't talk about pedophiles. We should just be quiet. We should just let them do whatever they're doing. We should just be quiet, you know? Whoever can, don't cast the first stone if you're with sin. So if you're fucking a kid, oh well, sucks to be that kid, I guess. You know? The world is getting ready to end. Once it's only going to take one or two, just one of these fucking super volcanoes to go off. You realize a super volcano going off is an extinction level event, right? You know, exposing pedos is not casting stones. Exactly, Mika. And I'm be goddamned if I'm gonna let fucking zealots use a Bible to control me. You know, I haven't prayed, but I'm gonna pray with my eyes open because I'm gonna keep an eye on this fucking conversation. You're right, the world ain't ending, dude. Everything is fine. Everything is fine, dumbass. No starvation, the heat, the weather, all of that. It's all fine. Whatever you need to tell your ignorant ass to sleep at night. You're right. You're right. You're absolutely right. So, with that said, Heaven, we come to you. Dude, I think that lust is probably the least of your fucking sins. That's just my opinion. You know? Daniel Dowd obviously has his incels in here today. To fight child abuse, you have to go listen to God, listen to your heart. Each one of us is in a different situation. But to turn a blind eye to it is not the right choice. You know? The only difference between Jim Jones and Donald Trump is that Donald Trump would charge them for the Kool-Aid. You know? That's the difference. Jim Jones gave it away for free. Trump would charge for it. You know? That's the difference. And his followers would be dumb enough to fucking pay for it. And do. And do. Heaven, we come to you as your children. We're in rough days. And it is, I know that we are supposed to fill our hearts with love, but it's hard. It's hard not to be angry at what's happening. And so, just, and there are so many damn dumbasses out there that don't have a brain in their head, being led right into the dark. And there's nothing that we can do. There's nothing anybody can do. You can't convince a fool that they're ignorant. It just doesn't work. We ask for your grace. We ask for your mercy. And we ask that you rise up and protect the kids, protect the children. That's what most of us want. And so it is hard not to be angry in this whole situation. Even our brother, your son, Jesus Christ, beat people with the stick. And so, and that's, I agree with that. Instead of going to Maxwell and fucking getting all the information from the bitch that'll lie, that's in jail, who wants a pardon, why don't we focus on the victims? Oh, that's right. They're too busy fucking murdering them. Virginia Gouffre gets hit by a bus. A few days later is told she's going to be in renal failure. A few days after that, she violated some protection order that she had against her. And then a few days after that, she ended up committing suicide. That's how it works with victims. So you better go ask them quick, because they're too busy focused on, fuck, who are they going to ask next? Trump? You know? It's a cover-up that's right in people's faces. And that's the reason why I think it just is angry. We live in just shit days. People's hearts have grown cold. They love themselves, they think about themselves, and they don't give a fuck about anybody else. They're okay with pedophiles just as long as they get some money in their pocket. And that's the sad part about it. And so it's rough living in these days. And we're supposed to lead people to the word, but oh man, it's hard not to be angry with all this stuff. But we are sure grateful that you sent your son, our brother Jesus Christ, down and to teach us, at least teach us the word, at least emulate it, or living a life for us to emulate. And we say these things lovingly and gratefully in your son, our brother's name, Jesus Christ. Amen. Funny thing about it, T-Rex, you know she was cremated, right? They cremated her. But if you see pictures of there were 6 or 8 guys carrying that coffin, they could barely pick up that coffin. So what's in that coffin? I contend that all the shit that Bill Barr gave Donald Trump from all those Epstein raids are in that fucking casket. That's what I think. Someone told me that the appropriate word is amen. A-M-E-I-N. I like that better. You know? Something was in. It wasn't just his dead wife who was cremated. You know? That's the whole thing. That's what this group is always. Oh, there's no evidence. There's no evidence. No body, no crime. That's how they fucking think. They do all this weird shit and then they'll say, where's your evidence? Where's your evidence? Where's your evidence? But they're dancing around fucking bragging about this shit. You know? It's just disgusting. Classic mob cover-up. They're a fucking bunch of child traffickers making a lot of money on drugs and fucking kids. No, I don't think Obama and Biden are great. Why don't you go to my book, Confessions of an Antichrist? Go to davidshurter.com. Go read the chapter that I wrote called Obamaha. You can find out what I thought about Obama. It's not one or the other, dumbass. It's all of them. It's all of them. But on your side, you need that whataboutism. Well, what about? Well, this, yeah, Trump is a pedophile, but what about? What about? You know? Okay, JT, show me facts where I'm wrong. Show me facts. Because your opinion is that my facts are wrong. That's your opinion. But you don't want to hear opinions. You're like that dumbass who just went on and fucking said he was a fascist, then got fired from his job and now wants to cry like a bitch. You know? You're right, JT. It's my venue. I am talking. And guess what? You're not. Right. It's not my job. You know? I closed the every once in a while when I have something important to say and I don't want to be distracted like yesterday, I'm going to shut off comments. That's how it's going to work. I'm going to shut off comments. You know? For the most part, I like comments. Because some of you are really bright and bring a lot of good things to the table. And I like that. Oh, Mar-a-Lago's going to be touched, dude. Trust me. They ain't going to be able to keep God from touching Mar-a-Lago or any of them. They all think they're going to live forever, which is just the funniest fucking thing ever. You know? You know, dude. Just do 5 minutes subscriber only mode. Ooh. I will definitely check on that. But they've subscribed with so many fake ass names, I don't think it would help. I don't need to investigate Pizzagate. That was all Michael Aquino. Pizzagate came out because of the Podesta files. Aquino wanted to shut everything down, so they gave Pizzagate. The only reason that Pizzagate didn't work, and then after that dude shot up Pizzagate over child trafficking that was happening in a basement that didn't even exist, then all of a sudden you got QAnon, and that was another Michael Aquino thing, being run by Lucian Greaves, founder of the Satanic Temple. You know, he was all involved with that. And how I know that Daniel Dowd Oh, that was a good idea, Gov. Member only chat. I might do that. Charge like $5. Thank you, Buck. It was all a setup deal. You want to know how I know that it was a setup deal? 2 years ago, I was making noise in town in Harlem. And that's the reason why Doug Mesner, aka Lucian Greaves, founder of the Satanic Temple, had them put that stupid Baphomet statue in the Capitol building with all of the nativity scenes. That was all to try and deflect from the narrative. You know, the Baphomet thing that looked like it was made out of tinfoil. Then the dude from Missouri came up. He was a government dude. He came up from Missouri and cut its head off. And that's all anybody talked about. But it was all meant to distract from what I was trying to expose. Because Doug Mesner, he's the key now to all of this. If anyone was going to be looking at any of this shit, Doug Mesner, aka Lucian Greaves, founder of the Satanic Temple, and his Satanic Temple after school daycare would be the first fucking place I would start. Because all of them are connected. Thomas Schoenberger, Gabe Hoffman, Corey Daniel, Daniel Dowd, Geo Farnsworth, Tara Joyce, DeFango, Sewertown, Craig Sawyer, Ron Patton, his whole group in Olympia, you know? They're all weird sex freaks. They are. You know? I tell people, if you invite these people to your house, not only do you better hide your kids and your animals and your silverware and all of that, but you better have a lot of fucking Lysol wipes. Because after they leave, you better wipe off the doorknobs and plunger handles or anything else they can shove in whatever hole they feel they need to shove it in. You know? And they're all like that. Bill Clinton, fucking pervert. Donald Trump, fucking pervert. You know? On all sides. Anthony Weiner, pervert. John Podesta, pervert. Matt Gaetz, pervert. Lindsey Graham, pervert. Name one of them on either side that's worth a shit. I can name only one. There's only one of them that I actually kind of like because he has integrity. Adam Kinzinger, and he's a Republican, you know? But at least he had integrity. I don't give Liz Cheney the same thing. But Adam Kinzinger, he gave up his political career to do what he felt was right. You know? Oh my God, Gov, just wait till you see last night's. Last night's was Trump is in bed with Satan. And then that thing afterwards where he was walking in the desert and he strips down and he has a penis about, I don't know, maybe this size. It's it was hilarious. You know it pissed him off. Oh my God, you knew it pissed him off. You know? It was funny. I thought it was hilarious. Flynn's not a good guy either. They're not. None of them are good guys. None of them. Last night, South Park was hilarious. It was just good to see someone actually have the balls to stand up to this motherfucker. It was really nice to see. Because everyone is running and cowering from him all the time. South Park is part of it. South Park is part of it. Unless you think that the people who write South Park are the best, they're better than Nostradamus. How much have they actually, you know, the same thing as Simpsons, you know? It's programming. It's programming. They call it programming for a reason. TV programming. You know? Well, it's hot out here. I just wanted to come out and actually just, you know, I know, $1.5 billion for streaming, and then they just fucked Paramount. They just fucked, because Trump is probably not going to let that merger go through now. He's mad. The whole White House is mad. You know you have a small dick when people talking about your dick size makes you crazy. You know? It's funny. I tell people all the time, you don't want to have sex with me. I have a 3/4 inch penis. you believe that. But I can laugh about it because it doesn't mean shit to me, you know? Kids are exactly what I'm all about. Have been about. This is my book. I got nominated for Book of the Year when I wrote this book. And it's all about the child trafficking that my family was involved with. My blog, davidshurter.com. Just davidshurter.com. I've had the blog since 2011. All I've tried to do is expose this child trafficking ring and this bullshit and expose it. You know? That's all it's ever been about for me. That's all it's ever been about for me. And so okay, T-Rex, I didn't get that. What's an anti-C book? I sell the books for $30. I make $10 when I do that. But PayPal and Venmo, D Shurter. If you want a book from me, you need to tell me where I'm sending it and who I'm inscribing it to. $30 is if you live in the United States. It's more expensive. I just sent it out. The Antichrist book. That's Confessions of an Antichrist. That's on my blog. That's the actual extended version of Rabbit Hole. It's what I wrote. Before I took it to the publishers, it's what I wrote. And that's free. And so if you go to my blog, davidshurter.com, and want to read Confessions of an Antichrist, it's up above in the posts above. You'll see extended version of Rabbit Hole, Confessions of an Antichrist. My publisher hates that I give that book away for free. Anybody who actually appreciates what I'm doing, it's end of the month blues, so it's time to starve. It sucks, but again, we all have our crosses to bear. But it's hot too. It's like 1,000,000 degrees. It's what, 90 something in here. It's 92 in the room that I'm in right now. And so that helps a lot with weight loss. I'm not very hungry in the heat, so that helps. But again, PayPal and Venmo is just D Shurter. If you want a book and you live in the United States, if you live in no, I've never gotten away, Kenneth, away from children being raped. Fuck being raped. When I was a kid growing up in Hummel Park, they were filleting those kids alive, those little boys. They were fucking cutting them apart while they screamed. That's why I have PTSD. Because when the stress gets really bad, all I do is dream of screaming little boys. Screaming in pain. And let me tell you, it's not conducive to sleep. You know? It's not conducive to sleep. And those kids, someone needs to give them a voice. Someone needs to give them a voice. Are you sure that he's talking to Prince Andrew and they're not just doing a circle jerk, reliving the past? They keep bringing up the Hampstead case. Over in Europe, over in England. The Hampstead case. The only thing that was real about the Hampstead case is those two kids that were being abused. Both the good side and the bad side were all bad. Sabine McNeil, bad. Abraham Christie, bad. The dad was bad, the mom was bad. It was all meant. But the reason why you got the Hampstead case in the UK is because all the shit started to come out after Jimmy Savile died, and they all started to realize that you had this pedophile ring that was going on. And so they needed to cover it, they needed to stop, and so they focused on the Hampstead case. It was just the way they used McMartin in the 80s and 90s in the United States. But if it was actually about the kids and the abuse those kids went through, you wouldn't be focusing on the Hampstead case. You'd be focusing on Shirley Oaks Group Home. That's also in the UK. It has, what, 500 victims now that have come together to support each other? You know? To support each other? That's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to actually talk shit about 500 survivors that are a collective. They'd like to choose just individuals. That's why they do the shit to me. That's why they're going out and doing the shit to me in mass. You know, Daniel Dowd gets all of his incels to come in here and actually attack. You know, because it's easier to attack one person. But if it was really about the sex abuse of kids and people actually gave a fuck in the UK, they wouldn't be focusing on that goddamn Hampstead case. They'd be focusing on Shirley Oaks. I've been at this for a long time. I know a lot of shit. That's the reason why they're so eager to shut me down. Because I've been involved with this for decades. The survivor communities for decades. I had to fight for several years with your little Hoaxstead research group, which was the same thing as the False Memories Foundation. It was a group of people online. And who was all involved with it? Oh, Angela Power Disney. You know, Tara Joyce's best fucking friend. They're all controlled opposition and they're all involved. Angela Power Disney, Sabine McNeil, all bad. All fucking bad. Why do you ask if I can control water, dude? Why don't you ask me what you're really wanting to know? Am I afraid of death? No, I'm not. In fact, what I had to do in this whole situation is get those motherfuckers to stand up and strike me down. That's the whole objective to this whole fucking thing. Just because they're absolute fucking failures at it isn't my issue at all. But God told me I needed them to get them to bind themselves to me by coming at me and rise up to strike me down. And that's why I'm at this. So am I afraid of fucking death? Not at all. Not at all. Because that means I've done everything I was asked. That's how it works. What has happened to the USA? We don't read. We're invested in reality television. What is my favorite gospel? You mean gospel song? And we've been taken over by a dictator. It's not just being taken over, the Heritage Foundation. It's a whole group of them. It's not just one. It's not just one. Opinions on Trump? I don't like fucking pedophiles. So when it comes down to that, that's the only fucking thing I have to say about Trump. I don't like pedophiles. What's my favorite book in the Bible? Let me think. I like Proverbs. Proverbs are like what I like to read when I'm angry. I like Proverbs. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John are my absolute favorites. I've read Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John a lot. I'm not a big. I obviously like the New Testament more than I like the Old Testament. But I've read the Bible front cover to back cover 3 times, and I don't know how many times. Just the other night, I opened it up and just started reading. You know, I I I find scripture. I love the Gospel of Thomas. I love the Gospel of Thomas. I'm not a big fan of all of the Dead Sea Scrolls. The Gospel of Judas. I have questions about that. There's another one that I actually just looked into where it talks about the demiurge and all of that. It was one of those gospels, you know. Wasn't a big fan of that. Wasn't a big fan of that. The Gospel of Thomas, though. The kingdom of heaven is not found in buildings of wood and stone. It's inside of you and all around you. Split a piece of wood, you will find me. Lift a rock, and I am there. Amazing. And so true. I can see why the Gospel of Thomas was not put in, because it questions the authority of the Catholic Church, who, by the way, are the editors of the King James Bible. Actually, King Henry VIII is part of the King James. But, I believe the devil is alive and well in a lot of men's hearts, men and women's hearts. I don't think the devil has to come here. I think that mankind knows way more about evil than any angel or anyone from heaven. I think mankind has a good hold on. That's the reason why we're nearing the reaping. And so many motherfuckers are going to find themselves in the dark, because you spend an eternity in the dark, you ain't going to ever choose evil again. He's sitting in the White House. Yeah? He's connected with all of them. He's not just in the White House. Buckingham Palace has one. The Kremlin has one. I don't know what they call North Korea. That has one. Hell is empty because all of the demons are now here on Earth. Isn't that what they say? I don't know about Enoch, never experiencing death. A servant is above their master. Jesus Christ is our master. Jesus Christ died, which means we all go through death because we are not above our master. We will all experience death. We all have experienced death till now. I don't understand where people think that something's going to happen and then all of a sudden physics isn't going to work anymore. I don't see that happening. But do I believe in death? No, not at all. I believe in the other side, which is more real. This is a matrix. It's a spiritual matrix, not a computer matrix. It's a spiritual matrix where we're all being tested spiritually. They will all bend a knee to God. They sure the fuck will. They will. And they'll beg for forgiveness, and it will fall on deaf ears. They will get as much mercy as their group offered, which is none. Because you reap what you sow. Didn't offer no mercy, don't get no mercy. Okay, well, with that said, they must have gotten tired of spending their money, because now there's only 24 people in here, and I bet there are 24 of you in here. Heaven was not kidding when it said it's better to tie a millstone around your neck than to hurt a child. It is better to tie a millstone around your neck and drown yourself in the ocean rather than hurt a child. And that is just as true now as it was when it was said. You know? And that's all I can say about the whole situation, you know? I'll never stop. I'll never stop. They have one of two decisions. They'll either leave me alone and I will continue doing what I'm doing, or they're going to strike me down. Either way, it's checkmate. Never start a war you haven't already won. Smokey, there's nothing to do about the whole situation. There's nothing. And I'm not blaming you at all. I'm not blaming you at all. And I don't want you involved. You know? I don't see any reason. I was suspicious at the beginning because it wasn't until I was convinced to reach out to you, and then all of a sudden, you know, the rash of shit that happened. And notice how it was when I first started talking to you. But that was because Sherilyn told me I needed to. And she can say whatever the fuck she wants. I can't control investigators. And they're going to want to know if she's another Glenna. They're going to want to know if she's connected to all of this. They're going to look into her. And there's not a fucking thing I could do about it. And there's nothing I want to do about it. If it's not a problem, then it's not a fucking problem. You know? Fuck, they've investigated me left and right for fucking years. I don't give a shit. You know? But there are things that went... Never getting access to that fucking email was a big red flag. I should have had access to it the minute it was set up, so that I could at least go look. I asked over and over and over and never got the fucking information. They turned me into a motherfucking honeypot. And it pisses me off. It pisses me the fuck off. And and her arguments were all the same as fucking Thomas's. We got into an argument, and finally at the end, email after email, all I kept saying was, okay, Thomas, whatever you say, Thomas. Okay, Thomas, whatever, Thomas. Because it was the same fucking arguments I'd had with Thomas. Same fucking thing. You know? She ain't gonna like, if she's on the dark side, she ain't gonna like what's coming for her. You know? She ain't gonna like it. And investigators are already well aware of her. They watch this shit all the time. They're not gonna come to me because they don't want me talking shit. They don't want me exposing their shit, but they don't need to talk to me. I give them all the information every chance I can get on these lives. I tell them so they can go look into it, which has been my whole shtick all along. I'm not Nancy Drew. I need someone to investigate this that has way more authority than I do. T-Rex, you only get on the shit list if you fucking act like a dickhead. You know? There's a lot of people who are subscribed. I have, 8,000 plus subscribers? You know? But I'll tell you the same fucking thing I told Sherilyn and I tell everyone. Go ahead. Play with me. You won't like the end result. They never do. They never listen to me. They always have that fucking arrogant fucking grin on their face, thinking they're superior and they're going to be the ones that bring me down. And then they always cry when it doesn't happen. And what I warned them of does. You know? Smokey, they're not worried about you. And I'm not worried about you, even in the least. Do you think I would be working on what I'm working on for you if I even had a doubt in my head? You know? They used you. They used you to try and come at me. That's how it works. Oh my God. And now we're back to me being Johnny Gosh. Because I don't know who my mom and my dad are. You know? Just as dumb. Just as dumb. Bye-bye. Jeff Gannon. And Jeff Gannon isn't Johnny Gosh either. Jeff Gannon isn't Johnny Gosh. That whole fucking story was stupid. You know, that whole story was stupid. You know what no one bothered to ask Noreen? Didn't Noreen say that her son came and saw her when he was in his 20s? Didn't Noreen write that in her book? That her son came to visit her when he was in his 20s? So why didn't anybody ask? So the person that came to visit you, was that Jeff Gannon? Nobody had bothered to ask that question. The minute Johnny Gosh became a hot topic and was the first milk carton kid, they murdered him. They murdered Johnny Gosh immediately. Do you think they were going to sacrifice their whole operation over one kid? You know? It was just ridiculously stupid, you know? I do have interviews, you know? Well, George Bush Sr. was definitely connected to this. T-Rex, the one that you should actually go. If you go to the very bottom of this channel, the very first videos that I did for this channel, you'll find some great interviews. I did some interviews. They did some. I interviewed other people. The one that I did about Jacob Wetterling, less than 2 weeks before they broke open the cold case, 28-year-old cold case, which was all bullshit too. Was all bullshit. The abductor pics changed. The whole story became stupid. Oh, they didn't see his face because he had a stocking cap over his head. But it was 9 o'clock at night in Minnesota. I have a video out there where I put a stocking cap over my head. I went and found the thinnest one I could find, put it over my head in the middle of the goddamn day and couldn't see. So, but he was running around with a gun, with a stocking cap, the abductor, at 9 o'clock at night, you know? No one visited Noreen Gosh. Noreen Gosh is a gatekeeper. She's just as heavily involved with Johnny, her son's abduction, as she said. She says John Gosh is the one who was behind it, but who's been the gatekeeper all of these years? Who's kept everything as a gatekeeper 40 fucking years? She knows who those brothers are. The names are Aquasino. She knows about them. She knows about all the shit she could expose who was involved with her son's abduction right now if she wanted to. And she hasn't. She always keeps telling you, oh, she does the same fucking thing of, oh, I'm about ready to bust this open, as that they are with the Jeffrey Epstein files. Oh, the Jeffrey Epstein files are just about ready to come out. 10 years later, have they come out? No. 30 fucking years later, they still won't have come out. Stop letting them take you down the rabbit holes that don't exist. You know? His own mom was involved with that child abduction. She was involved with Ted Gunderson, and Ted Gunderson was involved with hiding the shit. You know? Ted Gunderson was heavily involved. I've had personal interactions with every one of these people. Noreen Gosh, Paul Bonacci, Ted Gunderson, John DeCamp, you know? Johnny Gosh is not still alive. Paul Bonacci's a bad guy, and so is Noreen. If you go listen to the interview that I did with Mike Brunell was sitting right beside Troy Bonner's brother when they shot him in the fucking head. Go listen to our interview. Go listen to the shit that we were talking about. Because Michael Brunell was heavily involved. Sitting right beside Troy Bonner's brother when Troy Bonner's brother got shot in the head and murdered. Sitting right beside. Go listen to the interview. You know? But you're right. All of us who have been in this, who were there in person, there, we don't know shit. Everyone who's read shit online knows so much more than we do. Tara Joyce knows so much more, and Geo Farnsworth and Daniel Dowd know so much more about the Earling, Iowa gas station explosion, but I was fucking there. KETV, the local news people, they came out and did the interviews, interviewed Neil Gross, Sheriff, Shelby County, Iowa Sheriff Neil Gross. I'm not saying, Mika, that you're. I'm just saying that Johnny Gosh is dead. He's not alive. There's no proof that he's alive. You know? You can't trust anybody because they send people to you all the time. Shit, they send me people all the fucking time. And then they say, oh, it's just so sad that you're paranoid and can't trust no one. Yeah. The reason why I'm still alive and still here when so many others are dead. You know? Because I call it out as I see it. As I experience it. And their game never fucking changes. So it's not that hard. Okay, I'm at almost 1:30, so I'm going to get off here because it's hot. And I haven't really eaten anything. I think it's a pasta with butter day. Starvation sucks. I don't know who John McAfee is. So I'd say no, I wasn't friends. I may have met him throughout, but I don't even recognize the name. So, ending this, if you like the fact that I'm at this on the front lines exposing this crap as much as I can, I'm starving, so donations would be incredibly, I would be very grateful. It's my PayPal and my Venmo are just D Shurter. If you want to buy a book, McAfee, is that virus software? I was just going to ask, is it the virus software? I used to have it. I thought the program sucked. I have a much better program now. I didn't like the McAfee. So no. Hunter Thompson, met him, didn't like him. Fucking freak. He's dead now. So, if you want to buy my book from me, it's $30. That's in the United States. I did mail a thing to Germany. That was $30 postage. So if you're in the UK, it's probably $30 postage. So that'd be $60. It's cheaper. I just didn't like Hunter Thompson. You know? And nobody liked him. He was a freak. When I was 18, 19 years old, he was at parties in Omaha, Nebraska. I think he was mentally off. He was crazy and nobody liked him. You couldn't trust the motherfucker. He was crazy. And he would do all this crazy weird shit that was dangerous most of the time. He was a dangerous dude. You know? Hunter was completely in on all of it. That's the reason why he was partying in Omaha. You know? All of the cocaine that they were flying in from the Contras to Offutt Air Force Base. You know? I don't know how Hunter died. I just know he's dead. And that Johnny Depp was his best fucking friend. Who can forget that? So, my blog is davidshurter.com. Go check out stuff there. If you're interested in interviews, at the very beginning of this channel, at the very beginning, that's how I started. Is that I started interviewing people. Now I don't interview people. It was a lot of work to interview people, and it got to be really crazy. And so, but Shatter Boys, I have an interview with them in the UK. If you're in the UK, they're trying to expose child trafficking in the UK. Shatter Boys, great interview. I was impressed with them when I interviewed them. Don't know much about them anymore, but interviewed them. Michael Brunell. My interview on the John B. Wells Caravan to Midnight, I talk all about Jacob Wetterling. That interview was done less than 2 weeks before they broke apart the Jacob Wetterling thing, which was complete bullshit. PayPal and Venmo is D Shurter, just my first initial, my last name. SHUR, T as in Tom, ER. And I think that's it. I'll be back on Sunday at 2 o'clock. I will try to keep some sort of, but today I just felt to do an impromptu one. I got something from Smokey, and I just wanted to deal with this online, Smokey. I just wanted to deal with you. That's why I actually got on here, Smokey, because I just wanted you to know. I don't think you're a plant. I don't have anything other than love for you, dude. I think that they tried to use you against me. That's what I have a problem with. How the whole thing worked out. How it all got set up. That's what I have a problem with. And it seems like there's games going on still that I'm not aware of. I'm just guessing on that one. But you don't seem to me to be someone where shit just comes out of nowhere. Something is spurring the conversation. And so just realize I have nothing but love for you. And I'm working on this shit I told you I was working on. And it's funny because the one that you guys liked was the one I liked the best and didn't think that you guys would like it at all. That's the funny thing about it. I figured that one, that was the one I liked the best too. Just to let you know. And so I haven't gotten it, don't have any money, but will be getting it probably on the 3rd when I get paid, unless someone donates. And then, you know. But with that said, I'm going to end this. So I love you guys. You know, I wouldn't have been here for all these years if I didn't give a shit. You know, I would have walked a long time ago. There's much better shit, more fun stuff I could be doing with my life than exposing child traffickers. You know, like and subscribe if you can. You know, but pedophiles suck. They need to be brought down. And my focus is on all the fucking worker bees. I want to disrupt business as usual, and that's my fucking focus in all this. You know? So with that said, thanks guys, and I'll talk to you soon.